know if you heard that too, Sturge.
Yeah, I did. I did.
We'll cut that.
Okay.
Anyways, all right, boys. So me and Sturge are gonna go with our top five winners. We're gonna go from five to one, and then we'll give you a bonus of one team that we're disappointed in. Sturge, you'll start us off, and I'll follow.
Okay, so before we get into the top five, I kind of wanted to give a quick honorable mention. A lot of people might not agree with this. They didn't do much, but I did like one thing that they did. I like Pittsburgh acquiring that goaltender from Vancouver, Sivos, however you pronounce his name. I'm
Eagles.
Sivos. Yeah, I can't pronounce his name. That's the one name I can't pronounce. But I think he's a really talented goalie, and if they can slowly start building around that,
Yeah,
I feel like the key to any championship team is starting off with a good goalie. So I think that if this guy can become something, you know, I
yeah.
think they can slowly start to build up nicely. Obviously, they still need a couple years, but I think that's kind of like an honorable mention for me. So moving on to number five, I have the Flyers. Believe it or
Okay.
not, I
Wow.
think, yeah, I know they didn't really do much either, like I said, but I think getting Trevor Zegers is like a low risk, high reward kind of situation
Yeah.
where, you put him with some talented guys, like he's gonna play probably with Michkov on a line together. They still have Konechny, like, Owen Tippett. They
Yeah.
can kind of figure out how to make that work. I think Flyers might win a few more games than people think. Obviously, their goaltending situation is still a bit questionable, but I do like that acquisition of Zegras, and I feel like they didn't give up too much as well.
Okay. I didn't expect the Flyers to go in the top five for you,
Yeah.
but I'm going to counter with the Vancouver Canucks. So you might be shocked as well, but I think this is great for the franchise with Hughes might leaving he might leave them when his contract is up, and I believe a year or two from now. So telling him that we're locking up our best players that's around him, I think that's a good sign for Vancouver fans, but also as there could be, a sign where Hughes now stays in Vancouver, and that's a positive. And so locking up Demko, Garland, and also Besser, that was a shock. And there's one
Yes.
team that I think should have went hard for him and didn't. We might talk about that team later on. But having those guys locked up is going to be huge. If Demko performs like he did 3 years ago, Sturge, this team can make a run. I'm telling you right now, they can make a run.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
all about Demko. Like if you look at versus the Edmonton series 2 years ago, I believe, or 1 year ago, where they took them to six or seven, not too sure. Might have to fact check that when we edit the video. They lost because of goaltending. It was Shelov's and also a guy I don't know. So, they went that far with Edmonton. We went to the Cup Finals. That's a team where there could be good things to come next season.
For sure. And I think the thing is with Vancouver is on paper they have a solid team there. GT Miller's not there anymore either, which
Yeah.
hopefully resolve some of the conflict going on there.
Yep.
I just think the only thing with them is, they didn't really add too much to their team. Like obviously we know when the team is playing at their peak, like Pedersen, all those guys, when they're playing at their peak, they're a really good team.
Yeah.
But they didn't bring anyone in to kind of take that next step either, which is why I'm
Correct.
kind
Yeah.
of like iffy about it, but then bringing back Brock Besser was very surprising. I will say that for sure. I did
Yeah.
not expect that.
For
So
sure.
there we go. Okay, so moving on to my number four, I think you have them higher up on your list, is Montreal.
Mm,
I mean, there's not much to really say there other than they got Noah Dobson, who, he's 25, really talented player. Put their decor is amazing now. I just don't think he's necessarily a huge shutdown defender, and I don't really know who that would be on their team. But just the thought of Dobson and Hudson together as a pair is disgusting.
yeah.
Also, not to mention, Noah Dobson is a right-hander,
Yes. The league
which
league's
the
could
league
use
needs
one.
that. There's not many of those now
Rick,
on
eh?
defense. So that's why I
I'm
got Montreal there.
I have a team where it's either going to be, Montreal or this team, and this team took our boy Mitchie Marner. So Vegas, I think, comes out of this, with a huge, huge player that they got that can match up with Eichel, and now they also can now spread the wealth with Mark Stone, but also with what's his name against Sturge, the winger they got. They got like two lines going for them now, but also they have three because now with Marner coming to the lineup, they
I
shift.
think it's Thomas Hurdle,
Yes, Hurdle and William Carlson.
Will
So now they can
Carlson,
mix and match there.
Barbashev.
Barbashev too, bro.
Yeah,
This
that's a good
adds like
team.
they add another weapon to the roster, and Marner, you know what we saw him every game. We watched the regular season and playoffs. Playoffs disappointment, but let's see what he does in Vegas. But regular season for Vegas is going to be a good one because now, Mark Stone's always, he's always hitting the IR more, more often as he's getting older. So that takes a load off him. They can maybe use the LTIR like they usually do with Stone again and maybe add another guy at the deadline. So this move I think helps them. And they add also Colin Sissons. They made a trade. They lost Haig, the defenseman. He's a big body defenseman, but Sissons adds that depth to the bottom six. So I got Vegas at 4.
So the thing is, with Vegas, I believe Shattenkirk, I think that's what it was, he's not playing anymore.
Petriangelo.
Oh, Pietrangelo.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
wrong one. Pietrangelo, they said he's not probably not playing anymore. So that's a lot of money you already shed right there.
I wouldn't be shocked if they get another big name defenseman.
I know
Who
I
that
could
could
see them
be?
because they'll stash his money away now, and they'll
Is
try to find some other way to maneuver the cap. And yeah, honestly, Vegas, if they had someone else at the trade deadline too, watch out
a
for that
problem.
team.
They're going to be a problem. I think the West Coast right now it looks like Vegas and Dallas for me.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that for sure.
Because I think Colorado, I'm disappointed in them too. They didn't make my number one team where I'm most disappointed in them, but they disappointed me this offseason.
I agree. Yeah, they didn't really do much at all. Them, Edmonton, all those kind of teams that we know are good. I feel like they didn't really take that next step.
Oh yeah.
But one team that I have here at number three, this is the team that I think was already in contention and now they took a next step to get there.
Okay.
The Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay.
Carolina, we already know how good they've been. They made the conference finals. Obviously, gentleman's sweep.
Yep.
Wasn't really that close, but they made it there. Now you add Nikolai Ehlers, Keandre Miller. They extended Logan Stankoven, who's only going to get better with time.
Exactly.
I think, obviously they lost Brent Burns at the back. He went to Colorado, but I mean, the guy's 40 at the same time, so you kind of flipped trade him for Keandre Miller if you think
Yeah.
about it. So
You get your
I think
pop-up guys
overall they've,
now too. So he's sick.
yeah, that's the thing. I think they've upgraded where they needed to. They still have Anderson in net with Kucherov as the backup. I think now they're even more well-rounded, and I'm excited to see that team and see what they can do.
I'm gonna disagree with Carolina. They did add nice assets to their team. It's just that if you see, so they went through Florida, they got swept. Florida, what we saw with them, they're just grizzly bears. We don't see that with Carolina. They're adding more guys that are fast and skillful.
Yeah,
Keandre Miller isn't, the roughest, toughest guy on the ice. That's why the New York Rangers let him go. They trade him. They got a big haul from him with Morrow, a first rounder, maybe two first rounders, or maybe two second rounders. There's first and second in it for sure. But they got Gladysgov, whatever his name is, from Columbus, I believe, or LA. He fits that mold, right? But I think that they needed to get a guy where it's like a Brett Burns 2.0 on the back end, you know?
yeah.
Maybe they make a deal where a Reko Gudis type guy comes in, and that's where the opponents start to be like, oh, frick, we got to avoid that guy when we're coming up the ice now. So, but yeah, great moves for Carolina. Does that make them a better team than Florida, where that's where they ended their season? I don't think so, but we'll see. For me, at number 3, I got the Montreal Canadiens. So you have them at 4,
Yeah.
but the point with bringing Dobson to the defense core, I think Sturge, this might be a top 5 to top 3 defense core. We can't overlook what they already have on the depth end. So like I'll give you a list of their names: Alexander Carrier, Noah Dobson, Caden Gooley, Lane Hudson, Mike Matheson, and then also now you got Stribble and Xhekaj. That might be probably the best balanced defense core we see in the NHL, right? Because they got guys that can shoot, they got guys that can hit, they got guys that can shut down the whole play against the opponents. This is a huge move for them, especially at the cap hit. He signed an 8-year deal, $76 million deal, right? So 9.5 million. But also they lock up their backup goalie in Dubs or Dubois or something. Doubs or whatever his name is, Sturge. I don't know how you pronounce
Yeah.
it.
Dobez or whatever it
Dovis,
is.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dovis. 2-year deal, 965K a year. That's a solid deal. And we saw what he did for the Canadians last year.
Yeah, the only thing is too, I mean, like if you also add on the fact that they still have young guys coming up like Demidov. Also, what's the I can't remember how to pronounce like Reinbacher.
Reinbacher too. Yes, yes.
They have him on the blue line as well. So yeah, watch out for Montreal. They're definitely
Yeah.
on the rise for
They
sure.
do they do lose Emil Heineman to the Islanders, which
Yeah.
is a depth piece on the wing, but you gotta I think you take that deal any day of the week if you're
Yeah,
in NHL.
it's in the long run I think it'll be worth it for them. They're gonna be another good team in an already stacked Atlantic division.
Yeah.
So as a Leaf fan, it's tough to see, but some
Make
exciting
it's
things in
gonna make the games
Montreal.
more fun. That's the thing.
Exactly.
That's what I like.
Yeah. So let's move on here. So at number two, I have a team that you've already mentioned. I have Vegas at number two.
Okay.
I think just, obviously it's not like they did a lot either, but the fact that they brought Mitch Marner in,
Yeah.
and we know the kind of player Marner is, a great two-way player, he can produce. Put him on the top line with Jack Eichel and whoever else they want to play him with. I think that's a really scary looking team.
Yeah.
They've got some tough guys there in Vegas too. Great goaltending. Like I think they're very well rounded. And I think this takes a bit of pressure off Marner. I know he's still playing in Vegas, which, you know, decent sized market for sure. I just think
Wild
that the fact
Pennsylvania.
that he's not in Toronto anymore, he's not going to have that constant pressure every day of trying to, if any little mistake gets scrutinized. So I think he's actually really going to flourish in Vegas, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. It's gonna be interesting. Like we just talked about, it's gonna be them and Dallas, I think. I think we both agreed on
Yeah.
it. They got the both teams are solid. So
Yeah,
Marner
they're
going to
stacked like
Vegas.
forwards, defense, goalie. It's the complete
Yeah.
team.
I might be overlooking how big Marner is of an addition to Vegas is, and maybe having them at four might be a mistake. But I'm gonna have to tell you my two. I think it's the New York Islanders.
I
So
wanted to put them on my list. I almost put them on my list.
I think they have one of the best off seasons with this list. Matthew Schaefer drafted. I think that's huge. They
Yep.
re-signed Tony DeAngelo, not a big name, but that's still good. Where they got a guy that could also produce points wise, goals, maybe hits the PP2. Maybe Schaefer takes the PP1 right away.
I'd
We don't
like to
know.
see that.
But they can mix and match with that. The second guy, I like the Jonathan Drouin signing. 2 years, $8 million deal, so 4 year
Yeah,
AAV. That's a solid move for them. Dude, the lineup down the middle is looking good. You got Horvat, Pajot, and then you add Drouin on their wings with also Heineman, who they acquired from the Dobson deal. And also, they got the guy from the KHL, Shabanov, the or MVP of the KHL this past season. Guy put up crazy numbers. Him going to the Islanders might be a solid pick, bro. They got I don't know how to pronounce his name, Sepalov or whatever. I don't know if we can search that up. But Shabanov, 24 years old, he averaged over a point per game with 67, 23 goals, 44 assists in 65 games last year. That's pretty good stats in the KHL. That's
not
not the
bad at all. Yeah,
NHL, but the KHL is still a good league where if you put up numbers, there's still a chance where you might get a stud, which we saw in a Terry Panarin, but also we saw with the Leafs, OG Ganov and also Zaitsev, but they're defensemen. So let's see what this forward does for the Islanders, but also them locking up Romanov to an 8 year deal. That's huge. Telling the guys, you know, we trust in our D court. Let's get her going.
for sure. I definitely do see that. I'm excited to see the Islanders team. I do think they're a couple pieces away from, really making that playoff push. So maybe, a couple more draft picks, let these guys develop. And who knows? They have Sorokin back there still, top
Exactly.
goalie. So it's
They signed
interesting to see.
Dan Riddick, eh?
Yeah,
Dave Riddick. Big save, Dave.
David Riddick, yeah. Um, Before we get to our number ones, which I think we probably have the same team, um, I do want to say a team that I do like, and it's not necessarily, I don't think they really did much in free agency per se. Like off the top of my head, I can't really think. But I just like where this team is going. San Jose.
Okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
think give San Jose a couple years, and that team is going to be amazing.
They added a couple veteran guys with Klingberg, Revo, uh, but they let go of Vlasic. They put on waivers. I'm not too sure he left the team or he's going to be in the AHL in the minors, but they're making moves where they're trying to, you know, give the young core, a good look of what they expect from them with these veterans coming in.
And free of cap space too, so.
Yes. And
I'm
next year is
excited.
a big free agent.
Yeah, next year's a yeah pretty big free agency. So, all right, let's get to our number one. Like I
So
said, I think we both have the same team here,
just
so we can
nice
just
and
kind of
short.
talk about
Very,
it. There's no other reason. There's no other team that should even be close to here. It's the Florida Panthers at number
yeah,
one.
crazy. No one expected this.
Not at all. The fact that
Um,
they've locked up Bennett, Ekblad, and Marchand all long term
yeah.
is insane.
6 years for Marchand, 8 for Bennett, 8 for Ekblad, 8 million for Bennett, 5.25 for Marchand, then Ekblad 7.5. Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
like these guys all took discounts in order to
Yeah.
stay.
Like we were
And
thinking, what, 10 million for Bennett that might go to the Leafs? I didn't believe it for 1 second, but like I believe that he could have got 10 million somewhere
oh,
else.
easily. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Even
that's
with
what I mean. It's
Ekblad.
just, it was actually crazy that these guys took that discount. I mean, it shows though they want to win. They have a winning culture there.
You live in Florida. Come on.
They live in Florida, exactly. Like they're living the dream there. So there's no reason for them not to do this and try run it back one more
Yeah.
time. I
It's
think in the end, though, what it really comes down to with this team is Bobrovsky as he is getting older. I believe he's 37 now.
yeah.
So we'll see next season if he starts to show that decline because of his age. I mean, we saw this year, obviously he was amazing. He did did what he needed to do.
Uh,
But even with the team they have, the defense in front of them, as long as he plays, like as long as he's not terrible, there's no reason they shouldn't go at least make it back to the finals.
Yeah, exactly. I think with Ekblad, his baseline I think could have been $9.5 million what Dobson got. Very comparable guys, but two different guys where Dobson didn't have a great season with putting up points, but Ekblad did, but he can also hit. So maybe he could have got more than 9.5, but I would say that 9.5 average could have been what he could have got this past offseason. So, Sturge, let's give the people what they want. We talked about at the beginning of the video, our disappointing team we have. The one team. Sturge, you'll go first and then I'll finish it off.
Okay, so my team that I think really disappointed this year is the New Jersey Devils.
Okay.
And that I'm thinking because if you look at their division, as we know, Washington was amazing last year. Carolina made some moves. These other teams, Philly made some moves, Pittsburgh, all these teams are trying to get better, and I don't feel like the Devils really did much. Like their top signing essentially was Connor Brown.
Yeah, that's not
And
good.
solid depth piece, but it's not what you're looking for as a team where you're really trying to make that push. I feel like they should have went out and did more. There was no blockbuster acquisitions, nothing like that. So I feel like as a team, they didn't even make the playoffs last year. I just, I don't know. I feel like in a time when this was the time for you to really push, they didn't really do much.
I think with Hughes going down played a factor in that, and also
For sure.
Dougie Hamilton going down midway through the season also affected that. And Markstrom's injury, I think end of November,
Yeah,
took a toll on them, but that's no excuse. You got a good team around them still, where you got Jake Allen as your backup, but also Timo Meyer and also a younger Hughes brother on the defensive side, and also other guys that are on the wing. I think they could have made the wild card, but I don't know what they did at the deadline. I forget. But I think a team that's more disappointing than last year is the Minnesota Wild. What I expected from them was Brock Besser. Brock
yeah,
Besser should have been number one on the board, especially with Kaprizov being one of those big names in next year's free agency class. Him going to Minnesota, Besser, I'm saying, could have been a nice boost and a nice morale boost in the locker room saying, all right, boys, the management believes in us. He's adding. Let's make a deeper run instead of losing the first round every year. Is that good enough? Like, you got a great goaltender, Gustafsson, but you're losing Fleury. He was retired. So I think that team took the gold medal of being the most disappointing team this past offseason.
for sure. I can definitely see that. And like we said, a lot of these teams getting better, especially in the Western Conference there with Vegas,
Yeah,
Dallas, all these teams. It's just, what's left for Minnesota, right?
yeah. And you can even put Colorado up there, but we'll not go into that
We're not
because
gonna dive
we're
into
running out
that,
of
but
time. But yeah,
yeah.
Minnesota, they have a lot of cap space. I think they should have done more, but we'll end it like that, sir. But yeah, all right. Thank you for all for watching. That's our top five and one disappointing team we thought about this past offseason. Maybe there's more to come, more trades. We'll see. Maybe we'll readjust our rankings later this summer. But Sturge, good rankings. Here we go.